Here's the difference between secrets and rules. Secrets are things people keep from you. Rules are things that work whether anyone tells you or not. Most millionaires didn't build wealth by being brilliant. They built it by understanding a few simple rules early and then staying boring long enough for those rules to actually work. In fact, Warren Buffett made over 90% of his wealth after age 60, not because he suddenly got smarter, but because he understood compounding and didn't interrupt it. Today, I'm breaking down 5 wealth rules women were never taught, with real examples, real statistics, and real stories that prove this isn't theory. This is the Women Growing Wealth podcast, and this episode may change how you see time, money, and whether you're actually behind. Let's get into it. Rule number 1. Have you ever heard of the rule of 72? Time does more than talent. You see, the rule of 72 is simple. It tells you how long it takes for money to double at a given rate of return. At around 8%, your money doubles in roughly 9 years. But if you're earning 10%, it will double in 7 years. This rule explains more about wealth than almost anything else. People assume wealth comes from intelligence, timing, or big opportunities. In reality, it comes from starting and staying invested and not pulling the plug too early. I see women panic all too often because they think they're starting too late. But most wealth is built later, not earlier. The compounding doesn't look impressive at first, but then it all shows up at once. The real disadvantage isn't age. It's never being shown how the math actually works. Rule number 2, you don't need permission to invest. Most women assume there's a gatekeeper between them and their money. I had a client. She's smart, successful, high earning. She came to me genuinely horrified. She said, I don't even know if I'm allowed to take my money out. Is it possible that I need a custodian in order to manage my retirement funds? Listen, her retirement funds at Fidelity Investments, Charles Schwab, Vanguard, anywhere she wants to keep them that were with a custodian at first, she can simply ask to manage that money on her own and move it into her own account. She doesn't need permission. None of her worries were real. Those firms are custodians. They hold your accounts. They don't own them. And you don't need to hire an advisor to have a retirement account. The point is that if you're not with a company and you have retirement accounts that are on your own, you can manage those without an advisor. The advisor is an authorized manager, not a gatekeeper. When I explained this, she stopped and said, "Oh, I didn't realize that I could manage it because it's retirement funds." That understanding alone changes how women behave with money. This is about ownership, leadership, and being able to have autonomy over our own decisions and funds. Rule number 3, without an enough number, women stay exhausted. This is one of the most common patterns I see. Women come to me exhausted. They are making great money. They're working and working and working to make more. From the outside, everything looks successful, but they're saying things like, I don't feel like I can slow down. I don't know how long I have to keep doing this, and I'm afraid to stop. This issue isn't about ambition or a lack of it. It's that they don't know how much is enough for them. And having an enough number doesn't mean you stop working. It means you know how much will support your life. You know what's optional, and you know whether you're choosing to work or you're trapped by it. You also know that you're working toward a specific goal and you're mapping out how to get there. Once women realize this, they can take a step back and simply know that they again, have an authority over how their money grows. Most importantly, they can start building wealth without fear. Now, if you want your enough number, I offer a free calculator and guide to get that number. And all you have to do is go to getyourenoughnumber.com. That will be listed in the show notes again. Moving to rule number 4, consistency beats strategy. People love genius investing stories, but one of the clearest examples of wealth building has nothing to do with brilliance. Ronald Reed was a janitor and gas station attendant. No hedge funds, no insider access, no sophisticated strategy. He invested consistently in simple stocks for decades. When he died at 92, his net worth was over $8 million. Not because he optimized, because he stayed in the market consistently. Women hesitate because they want the right strategy, but the market doesn't reward perfection. The market rewards consistency, and that's true with any investment. Let's move on to rule number 5. Getting rich quick is a warning sign. Unfortunately, I learned this the hard way. It took me a long time to understand that getting rich quick is equal to a lot of risk. I would get offer deals and they looked amazing, impressive. I would join high end masterminds and just think, wow, I'm going to make all this money. But what I wasn't realizing was that nobody cares more about my money than I do, and that I needed to look at each deal on my own. I needed to see if I really liked the assumptions or if they were just aggressive projections, and if there was just a small margin for error, which means that if one thing went wrong, which can in business and in real estate and in markets, I could lose all my money. Those deals didn't struggle because market collapsed. They struggled because they weren't built conservatively. And there are just so many variables that need to go into investing in a deal that I finally created a new criteria. What it helped me analyze was how I look at opportunities. I stopped asking, how big is the return? And started asking, how realistic is this deal when things go wrong? Wealth isn't built on optimism, it's built on prudence. And it's also built on trusting the people that you're working with. And remember, no one cares more about your money than you do. If this episode did anything for you, I hope it replaced your urgency with accuracy. Wealth doesn't come from hustle, brilliance, or big moves. It comes from understanding the rules and not breaking them. You don't need permission. You don't need perfection. You don't need fantasy returns. Just start with your enough number. Build from there. Everything else gets easier. And remember, you can get your enough number at getyourenoughnumber.com. This is the Women Growing Wealth podcast, and this is how wealth building actually looks. If you love this episode, please take a moment and leave me a 5-star review. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. See you soon.